All right. Welcome to Wife Talk. How are you, Marie?
Oh, child, it's Tuesday.
Yeah, I said the same thing. I was like, babe, I need me another weekend or something because I'm tired today. But we are here. We are with Wife Talk. My name is Angela A. Love Lewis, and I got my girl Marie with me. And y'all know we come through on Tuesdays to give y'all a dose of what is it? Mind, money,
There.
and marriage. Yes, let me get it together. Y'all see we tired because honey, listen, I'm trying to get my thoughts together. Hey, Nicole. I see Nicole has joined us on Instagram. So she says, hello, everyone. Good evening. Getting off work. I decided to join and listen in to learn
Thank
what's new.
you.
That's
Thank
what's up,
you.
Nicole. So make sure, because we have, honey, for those of you who maybe this is your first time tuning in, or you just, it's been a while since you've been on. We have been blessed for the last few weeks to have some of the co-authors on the upcoming Hot Life anthology. So the ladies have been coming in. We have Regina Hutt last week. We've had Marianne Dannard. We've had Simone Williams Young. We've had Keisha Johnson. I think that's all the ladies, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's everybody that's been on here. Am I missing anybody?
I believe that's it thus far. More to come. Thus far, that's it.
Okay, so we got a few more ladies that we will be scheduling, but just want to have them on here to get their opinion as we are working on the anthology. But prior to doing all of that, we had what's known as a wife confession. So, Marie, can you share with the people what wife confessions are?
Absolutely. So, wife confession is just, if you have a situation, you have something on your mind, you have something you want to talk about, whether you're married, engaged, even for you single ladies, if you just have a topic that you want to discuss, something, that's just been ailing you, you send us the wife confession and we'll go ahead and talk about it on the show. We have a lot of wonderful listeners who have been married for many years, some who are also, fresh to marriage, but we all want to support one another. And we just try to provide some experience and guidance for you to get you through the situation that you need. You need to, outside of first thing, we're always going to tell you to pray first, but it's always good to have a positive person to, give you some kind of feedback or, some guidance on your situation.
Yes, I love it. I love it. And we have had some really good ones,
Yeah.
that we have, tackled and gave our 2 cents on. So hopefully, the recipients of the information, hopefully it helped them in the dilemma that they were dealing with or the confession that they put out there. But tonight we do have a wife confession. So if you want to go ahead and let the cat out the bag, let's go ahead and do it.
Yes. All right, let's get to it. And I think this is a good one because I've been in this situation myself. So I think this is a really good topic for us to talk about.
Okay.
So it says, hey, ladies of Wife Talk, I hope this confession finds you both well. Let me start off by saying I adore the podcast and I think you both are very inspirational women and love the platform you created. Women in general need to chat with one another, uplift one another, and converse about our problems, hoping to assist, never to tear each other down. So let's just stop right there. Thank you for the comments. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Look.
We want to be a vessel and a blessing and absolutely to assist and never tear down. So thank you for that. So let's get to it. It says, now that we have that out of the way, I want to address a issue that is happening in my relationship. I want to be respectful. However, here it is. The issue is that my sisters and I have a girls trip every year. I also have a trip with my best friend every year. We go off to get a break from work and our daily lives. I think that is normal, but to my fiance, he hates it. I don't want to ruin my relationship, but I don't want to sacrifice my happiness either. I just want to know, is it a bad thing going on girls' trips? Is it forbidden in a marriage? I know I'm not the only one. Call me confused, but what should I do?
Okay, confused. What should you do? Nicole was like, honey, confession, I'm nosy. Yes, girl, honey, we trying to hear the tea and see what they talking about.
Right.
So let's talk about it. Let me see, Nicole, what you got for us? You put yours in, or I'm gonna put mine in.
Okay. You gonna
So
go first, say love?
yeah, because I know you got some good goods to come
Sure.
behind, and then we'll mix it up a little bit. I'll start off by saying this: girls trips first and foremost, it really shouldn't be anything wrong with that. If you and your friends want to go hang out or whatever, because, sometimes guys take trips, it may be a sporting event, that they may want to go and hang out at or something, and so they may go on fishing trips. Sometimes bonding with somebody who you're friends with or family members or what have you, sometimes that's fine, for you all to go somewhere, relax, unwind, have a good time, hang out together, talk about some things, because it should allow you to come back and be like, yes, I'm glad to see you and I feel so much better, I'm relaxed, I had a great time, and you come back refreshed, which should be a better version of you. Now, what the problem is, and let's see, Nicole said, well, the fiance should respect your girlfriend trip. Okay, all right. Go ahead, Nicole. Yes, go ahead, Nicole. I like that. I like that. When you know up front, when you communicate with somebody that this is something I've been doing, this is not anything brand new, we do this all the time.
Mm.
Because I'm a firm believer that people are going to do what they want to do. They don't have to wait to go out of town to do something if they're going to do it. That's just my thing. People can do something, as a matter of fact, I was laughing with some friends of mine, ladies of the Empowered Morning Show earlier today, and I was saying, how people are so suspicious, like, oh, ain't nothing out at after 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, but legs in the Waffle House, right? Well, this is the thing.
Legs in a Wawa.
Yeah, this is the thing to me. People be very concerned about trips or late nights, and you get suspicious and you start thinking that maybe some other things are extracurricular activities are going on. But to be honest with you, if somebody wanted to do something, they could do it at 8 o'clock in the morning. They could do it at 12 noon. They could do it at 3:30. There's not a specific time frame. So to sit back and think that just because you're going out of town, I mean, if that's the case, you could say, well, hey, I'm gonna go see my a girlfriend, or I'm going to the mall and shop. You trust that. So why not trust going out of town should be neither here nor there as far as I'm concerned. But I do know that people have issues with it because so many people who broadcast what they do. And so you tend to think that that's what everybody does. And it's a generalization that, you got to know who your person is to even know if that's in their nature or not. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
If you can hear them laughing and getting together to my girl, oh my God, because we met that fine man at the bar the last time, and oh my God, you doing all this talking and stuff. Pay
Mm.
attention, because people give things away. You got to pay attention to who you're with and how they communicate when they're around this friend or the group of women that you go with. And if you feel that it's a problem, then ease that by maybe having an introduction, like, hey, once y'all come on the house and hang out so my fiance can get to know you guys, so that way he can kind of be having his fears eased, because now he sees that you're not going to be promoting me to go out here and be doing anything that I'm not going to do anyway. But at the end of the day, you're grown, and if you want to do something, a girl's trip is not just going to be the only place that it can happen at. So,
Absolute facts. Okay, straight facts. I love their response. That was, girl.
look,
You said that, a love.
thank you. I'm looking at Nicole too. And what Nicole said too, she said, trust is the issue. Her fiance may have, it appears to be that he may have an issue with trust.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's my message. And y'all know when we do these, I have to first, I'm always going to say, pray about it. Pray
Mhm.
about it definitely, because we can tell you anything. Now, mind you, yes, master life coach here. A Love is a life coach, marriage counselor here as well. So definitely, we want to give you some good sound advice. However, um, I'm always going to tell you to pray about it.
Mhm.
James 1:5. If any of you lacks wisdom, you should what? Ask God, who
Yeah.
gives generously to all without finding fault, right?
Period.
So there you go. That's number one. But here I go. Trust is a bridge to a true relationship, hands down.
Yeah.
If there's a lack of trust, it's hard to be in a relationship. I'm not going to say that, you can't be in a relationship if you don't trust people. We all have trust issues at some
Right.
point. whether something has transpired, that's just who we are. We have our guard up, what have you. It happens. But I definitely agree with A Love is that there's a conversation that needs to be had. Maybe, your fiance has had an experience
Mm-hmm.
with someone who's done something and he's holding on to those insecurities. Maybe he, had a moment and he did something back in the day before he met you. And you never know what has transpired or what's on his mind. So get that clarity from your mate first and foremost, because when you have that clarity and understanding, it goes a long way because you'll know why that person acts the way that they act. And hopefully it is something that, you can understand and you guys can move forward to
Yeah.
as well. But know that trust, it takes time. It needs attention, attentiveness,
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, it's not a punishment to your mates to go out of town. And I have to go back to the message. It said, I don't want to sacrifice my happiness either. Wow. No one wants to sacrifice their happiness when
Absolutely.
it comes, exactly, especially when it's something as simple as going out. I tell people all the time it takes over 100 muscles to frown, way less to smile. So he should want to be a part of that smile. And again, absence
Yes.
makes the heart go fonder. So again,
Mm-hmm.
those couple of days that you're away, you're going to miss him. You're going to talk to him. We live in a day of technology. I work in IT. You got camera phones, video
I was
chat,
getting ready to say
Snapchat.
FaceTime. You
Um,
to ease somebody's fears. If you love somebody, you really try to go out of your way to make sure that they feel secure. But I'm gonna read you what Nicole's comment was on IG. She said control can be an issue. Why? He wants to control you and who you hang out with. Be kind and generous to one another, and the relationship will grow. Communication is the key.
Absolutely.
And
That
I love that. I
wonderful.
love that. Thank you for sharing
Yes,
that, Nicole.
absolutely. Communication is key. You cannot succeed in any type of relationship in this world without communication. And that's why I always say clarity, because that you have to communicate to get clarity, right?
Mhm.
You can't. And when we assume, what does it say? What does assume spell? Ask you and me. Let's keep it
Mhm.
100, okay?
Period.
So
Yeah.
you definitely don't want to be in that situation. So he shouldn't assume. My take is he definitely should be, confident. You don't want to marry someone that you feel like you can't trust. Now, if things transpire, over time, absolutely, I get it. I'm one. I've been through a lot, so I do have trust issues. But at the same time, I have to learn to put my big girl pants on. I can't worry about what you're doing when you're not in my presence
Right.
because what's done in the dark is going to come to the light. I know that I'm God's child, and whatever it is, I have faith that He's going to take
Mhm.
care of me. So I'm definitely not worried about what someone is doing. Either you're gonna do right by me or you're not. But again, I'll
Right.
find out. So I don't want to assume that that's what his issue is. So my preference is for you to have that conversation. That's that
Mhm.
pillow talk. That's that quiet dinner at home or even out in public, just in case, you don't want it to get a little raspy. But
Right. Right. Right.
right.
Because
But
it could pop off. You know what I'm saying? This is a thing.
right.
When people deal with trust issues and insecurities and things, it
Mhm.
can be a little volatile when you start thinking. But a lot of times you have to kind of put things in perspective because it's not always you. That the
Absolutely.
issue is with. Sometimes, again, it could be, trust issues from a parent, that you saw that was doing things, when they went and left. It could be from, seeing your siblings do some things and you're just like, okay, all my brothers go and do and
Right.
so, all my sisters, I hear these girls talking. So you gotta really kind of be mindful that sometimes people will put other people's issues on you.
On you.
And it
Absolutely.
makes it a lot harder. But at the end of the day, it has to be conversations, particularly when it's a fiance, because
Mhm.
it can determine whether or not you need
Well,
to move forward. So you want to be, really clear to have open communication and kind of get to the root of the problem. Like, okay,
yeah.
so you don't want me to go. Why? What has happened? What do you think I'm going to do? What about me has made you feel like it's going to be an issue for me to go or not go.
Absolutely.
And vice versa, for sure, for her to say that, me doing this makes me happy.
Right.
What about that threatens you? You know what
Absolutely.
I'm saying? And really take the time to listen to what the response is, because yes, the trip makes you happy, but if your fiance makes you happier, then you know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
have to kind of outweigh weigh the thing. Like, is it, I'm a grown and I'm gonna do what I want to do, mad or not, you'll get over it.
Right.
Maybe they will, maybe they won't. You have to think about it. If they can't get past this, is that a deal breaker for me?
Right. And I think too, and I love that comment, but I will put a spin on it. One of the trips is with her sisters. So it's
Mhm.
not a if my husband or future husband in my family, because neither family nor spouse should make you choose. And I will tell you, my mother used to tell me all the time, all of her, all three of us, we have, she used to say, don't make me choose between you and your father. You may lose. And I'm thinking, what woman says that? But I've heard her say that to my dad too.
Mhm.
Now, I'm not I love my daddy, my daddy's girl. He would never make her choose, but that was her line to say, the love that I have for you is different. And it took
Right.
me to become an adult and to love, to
Mhm.
understand, and to have a son of my own, to understand what she means. The love that you have for someone that you spend your time with and you become one with is different than the love that you have for your children and your family. And that may be the only time she gets with her siblings. Her sisters
Mhm.
may live in a different state, town,
Mhm.
wherever. So
Right.
never make her feel that, anyone, male too, never make them feel like they can't have that time of enjoyment. But also, again, how you carry yourself when you're not in town makes me question how you're going to carry yourself out of town. And I,
Yeah.
and I do understand that, because I've seen it. Hey, love, I'm sure you've seen it too,
Mhm.
where I remember, I think it was a couple years ago, girl had a moment with a gentleman at a beach.
Mhm.
They ended up taking a picture. Girl goes on social media looking for the gentleman, coming to find out the gentleman is married with kids.
Mhm.
And, so if a person is giving you those red flags before, then again, red flag, raise them antennas up. Your TV fuzzy,
Mhm.
okay? Get some clarity, raise them antennas up.
Mhm.
But if a person doesn't give you any type of red flags and you feel that they respect your relationship and your space in themselves,
Mhm.
then ease that pain. Message too is, what kind of trips do you take with your spouse? Because the same way you take those girls trip and sister trip, make sure you take those trips with your spouse. Because I know for a fact, anybody who knows me, if you talk about traveling, where we going? I love to get on a
Right.
plane. Delta, here I come. Love to get on a plane and and enjoy life, especially the beach. And I don't even get in the beach. It's just the fact that I'm near the water. I can
Yeah.
write, read,
Yes.
But again, I make sure that I take time for my spouse as well. So
Mhm.
every year I may take a trip with my sister, I may take a trip with my friend. But I always make sure at least 3 times a year I'm traveling with my mate. So
That's
I,
good. That's good
yeah,
to create the balance, and also to create the thing to say that I'm not just trying to go out to get away from you. I
not at
also
all.
want us to get together and do some things too. Um, and
Absolutely.
you have to also kind of think, if you have an issue with a girls' trip, what about a work trip? Because some people's jobs take them out of town.
Right.
So is it just because it's me and my girls, or me and my sister, or my cousin?
Right.
Find out, and again, it all boils down to communication. And I
Communication.
see that Nicole is popping the chat over here. So let me read a few things that she said, because she's getting down with it.
See,
But she said, I used to have trust issues. I know who I am and my identity as a woman. I'm quiet. I treat relationships how I like to be treated, no matter what it allows to happen to me. And then she said, men get hurt, and they will hurt someone, and you'll have no clue. And it may be something that happened in the past. And
right.
then she said, her mother said, you should never put your friends to the side for no man. He ought to respect and love you and trust you. Allow your past to stay in the past and start new.
Okay.
Um, and then she said, right now I put my friendship in place and my spouse relationship in place and my children and my grandchildren in place. So
Absolutely.
everybody,
Big deal. Everybody has a lane, and
Everybody, yes.
it's
Exactly.
never okay to, as I said, make someone choose. And I understand my mother's thought process so well now, like I said, as an adult. But there are a lot of times we put people in those compromising positions and we don't even realize that that's what we're doing.
Mhm.
We're unintentionally selfish at times. Now, there are times where it may be intentional just because you got some issues, and that's fine. But sometimes you have to always self. You got to take a step back. You have to reevaluate yourself all the time. A friend of mine, Tamiko Green, she has this poem, but also she has a book. It's called Reset. Sometimes we have to do that. You have
Yeah.
to reset yourself, clear
Yes.
everything out, and start from scratch, and put yourself in that person's shoes, so they can, so you can see what they see. And you always want to be
Right.
mindful of the things that you do, because maybe you're giving off flags that makes them feel like, oh, I can't trust you. And if so, what are those flags? And tell him what you mean by that. Tell him, why you are the way that you are, so he'll have more understanding. Because remember, this fiance, and this is your premarital phase. Once you walk down the
Right.
aisle, there's no turning back. You can change your name, that paperwork is sealed. Yes, you can get divorced, but we don't believe in that. We want to stay wives for life. So, definitely get all this, air out this dirty laundry now. Because when you walk down that aisle, you want full transparency, from the rooter to the tutor. Like, you want everything to be right. You don't want, questions, especially, about, can I trust her or him when they're going out of town?
Right.
You got to know, either I can or I can't trust you. And that's fine. If you say, you know what, I don't trust you, but at the end of the day, you got to let a person live. Let them do what they're going to do. It doesn't matter. And for me, no judgment, but I'm not a one night stand kind of chick. So I can't, that's not my cup of tea. So going out of town and meeting somebody again, he has to see, hey, is this your pattern? Um,
Mm-hmm.
did y'all talk about it? Some people are just open with their relationships. So they'll
Right.
say, yeah, I did this before. Maybe that's why he's questioning it. Or maybe he's done that. So again, you have to get that clarity. That communication has to be sound, and pray about it. Pray about your response. Pray about what you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna find out.
And be careful who you let get in your ear, because there's so many
Absolutely.
people who will be quick to be like, girl, because if it was me, Bobby, honey, he couldn't be trying to check me about where I'm going, what I'm doing. You better tell him, and doing all the extra, or vice versa for him. Like, man, these women be out here and being, what's the song Chris Brown used to, these, what ain't loyal.
Loyal, right?
Yes. And so
Yeah,
when that's coming into your ear,
yeah,
it already puts a spin on whatever's going on. And so you just have to be mindful of who's in your ear, who's telling you things, know who you're dealing with, have open conversation.
yeah.
And then too, you got to think about it, because even in a court of law, they say you're innocent until proven guilty. So until somebody actually does something, you really need to give them the benefit of the doubt. And
Absolutely.
if you have some trust issues, you got to deal with it on your own sometime, because
Mhm.
if nobody's giving you a reason to do that, then that's something you got to work out for you.
For
You know
your
what I'm saying? Because people
absolutely.
can tell you all day long, I'm not doing anything. I promise, here's the phone, here's the whatever, you know, and either you choose to believe it or you don't.
Right,
But at the same time, you got to think about, again, like your mom said, don't make me choose, because you may not like the choice.
right,
you know don't put me in a situation where it's going to make me have to second guess,
right.
and think about the fact that if that happens, are you accountable enough to, what they say, handle the
And the
consequences?
consequences, absolutely. I mean, because trust is the cornerstone of every relationship. And you have to be mindful of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's not even just about marriages and but it's every single relationship, your friendship,
Every.
whatever. You definitely have to be able to trust that person, because you're sharing intimate moments with them. And I'm
Mhm.
not referring to sexually, I'm referring to intimate. This is what's on my mind, this is what's on
Right.
my heart, this
Right.
is what I feel, my spirit is this way.
Right.
There are things that you share with people that you have some sort of relate or relationship with. and you have to be able to trust them. So
Mhm.
it's important to have that conversation, but I want you to gain peace on that, because when you don't have mental peace, you're disturbed. And one thing about it,
Very true.
I can't, we only got 24 hours a day. I tell you, I'm trying to sleep 8. I give my job a good 8 to 10, sometimes more.
Mhm.
I only got a few left. I want to be at peace mentally, physically.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
want to have a care in the world, because I keep worried
Exactly.
about, you looking at Sally Sue and when you out of town, and then because I'm
Mhm.
not looking at Joe Bob, honey, I'm looking at me. All eyes on me. Okay, in the
What you
words of
talking about?
I'm worried about me.
Exactly. But I will say this, even in the midst of us talking about trust,
Yeah,
at the same token, people are human and people make mistakes and things happen and trust can be broken. Now, what happens at that point is sometimes you gotta extend grace because some
absolutely.
people are genuinely upset or genuinely do some things and then regret and want an opportunity to make that right.
Right.
And sometimes you gotta weigh, your weigh the situation and see,
Hmm.
based on what I know of this person, even if they did X, that
Hmm.
doesn't mean they're gonna always continue to do
Exactly.
Y and Z. You know what I'm saying? So because I mean, you think about it, there's even in court of law, there's first time offenders, and they may never go back. That one time may be, or it may be repeat offenders.
Absolutely.
Either way it goes, you just have to really. Sometimes you have to give people grace in order to keep peace for yourself.
To
You know,
yourself.
about
Absolutely.
maintaining your peace, but sometimes you got to forgive. Because at the end of the day, all of us have done something. Nobody's perfect. And so, what your one issue may be, somebody else may have another one. And what
Right.
you've done over here or seen, don't put that on somebody else because that
Mhm.
may be their thing. But
Absolutely.
at the end of the day, if we're trying to be in a relationship, we have got to have, the conversations, be
Right.
accountable, and then, because let me see, Nicole said, first and foremost, my friends, I don't invite them in my relationship. You
There
would
you
treat my spouse with respect, and my spouse will treat my friends with respect.
go.
That's
Right.
how I live, or I would say bye to the friendship. To her friends,
Right.
and then she said, "My friends cannot get in my ear. I do not do girl talk in my ear. A friend did that and I lost my friendship." And then she said, true friendship protects your interests. If they don't like it, they protect your interest. If they don't like it, allow me to learn and have the opportunity to grow. And,
Love
and I
it.
do like that. Sometimes you have to just, go with the flow. Because in life, everything is not going to be how you want it to be. It's going to be times where
No,
things are going to happen and you're not going to like it. And somebody's going to say, hey,
it is what
whether
it is.
you like it or not, it's
Right.
it.
And I want to go back to what you said too. You said, show people grace and forgiveness.
Hmm.
What people never think about is, often or not, we don't think about it. You can forgive someone. That doesn't mean that you forget what they did.
True.
Because
True.
I'm in the back of my mind, I'm always going to know what you did. But here's the caveat. You can remember, but don't keep it, like, don't let it hold rent in your head. So
Hmm.
the first time they do something, it's kind of like, oh, I
You
remember
wait.
what you did.
It's already
Right,
waiting. You over
right,
there like we're playing double dutch, like you're trying to see
right.
when am I getting ready to get
You're
you?
not trying to
Look,
jump in.
you look like you finna do something.
Right, because I'm ready. I'm ready.
Because
But
I'm
yeah, you
ready.
can have that mentality though. Like I said, it's okay to remember, but put it in the back, hey, we had a moment kind of. I remember when we had a moment, but don't remember that moment just to come back at someone, just to
Yeah,
be able
that's
to get
good.
back. So you definitely want to forgive in a manner of which you're not playing double dutch with your mind and with them as and with your relationship as well. That I wanted to just say that when you said that, that was like artwork right there, because I'm like, that is so true. We have to show people grace, because when you think about it, how much grace has God shown us?
Oh, honey, what you
Sure.
talking about?
Too many
Yes.
times I've known He's shown me some grace. He's still working on me.
Everybody, you know what I'm saying? Nobody's perfect. And so,
No,
you just have to really kind of take a step back sometimes,
yeah,
and
with
assess
grace
the
alone.
situation and understand that everybody has a reason why. They
Yes.
have trust issues. You know what I'm saying? Whether somebody did it to them personally, whether they were the ones that were doing stuff, either way, it has happened. And so now you have to kind of, step back and see, does this really apply to this situation?
Absolutely.
And if it does not, again, give grace and go by the, innocent until proven guilty. This, if it's a new relationship with a new person and they haven't given you any reason to feel that way, just because the last two or three did it doesn't mean this person is going to be the same way. Or
Absolutely.
vice versa. Maybe they've done some stuff, but now they've met you and they're trying to do right because they appreciate and value who you are. So
Wow.
just take the time. When Nicole said forgiveness is the key. I asked God to wash me white as snow. It's hard to carry
Mm.
hurt, lies, and pain, and that is definitely the truth. But she says at the end of the day, I'm asking that God work on me. And when you work on yourself,
That's
when you
that
work on yourself, that right there was a whole look. That's a drop the mic in the broadcast type of
There you go.
because when you work on you, that's how we were talking about staying in your own lane. When
Yeah.
you work on you, you don't have time to be worried about what somebody else is doing. You don't have time to be, trying to see if they finna, do something to come against you. Work on you and make sure that before, because you know what they say, before you point at the speck in somebody else's eye, check and see what's in yours. And
Three.
when you do
Right.
that, that puts things into perspective sometimes to where, you know what, baby, what you need to go on this trip. You and your sister, you and your girlfriends, y'all have time.
They want some money we pay.
Hey, it, if you're being honest with yourself, when you can, check yourself first,
Yeah.
it will put things into perspective.
Absolutely agree. And you got to take it day by day,
Yeah,
one issue at a time. Nothing is promised. And again, for the people who have trust issues, again, I'm one of them. You just have to decide after this conversation, last piece of advice, after this conversation, good, bad, or indifferent, still work on the relationship and work on how you're going to move with this issue, because a lot of times we'll hash it out, we'll have an issue in life with anybody, again, male, female, friendship, relationship, and we don't agree on the situation, but we don't agree to disagree. We just don't agree, and we still have it in the back of our mind. So again, that's that getting clarity point, and that's also making sure that you know how you're going to move going forward. Don't
yeah,
move with animosity. Don't move to where, because again, she said, I want happiness. Make sure at the end of this conversation you find some sort of happiness. And remember, he's not going to give that to you. You're going to have to get that to yourself. Um,
that part.
that's the difference. A lot of times we look for people to validate our feelings,
Right.
and make it we wanted to make it them to make it make sense for us. I'm sorry about that, but that's not going to happen. Only you can make something make sense. You have to agree with what is being said, in order for it to make sense, right? So don't make it a situation where he has to validate how you feel by just agreeing with you, and don't make sure that you're just not validating him and agreeing, and you don't really feel that, because again, you're going to get married soon, and you want there to be constant communication,
Mm.
constant clarity. You want to be on the same page. A Love and I have talked about vision boards. We've talked about ideas to strengthen your marriage. So you want to be able to talk about all these wonderful things now and continue to talk about them throughout the marriage. So you definitely want to make sure that you are at peace at the end of that conversation, for sure.
For sure. Well, listen, that was a great wife confession. We've come up on the end of our time for Tuesday, but I hope that that was something that, helped not only the person who submitted the confession, but other people who will, tune in, that are tuning in now, that will catch the replay. Because at the bottom line, you want to be at peace in whatever choice you
Agreed.
make. And so, whatever that looks like for you, make sure you take the time. A lot of times we brush off stuff, and feel like, it's no big deal. Sometimes you got to stop and pause and really deal with something so that it doesn't become bigger later. So,
Absolutely. And A Love, do one thing before we end the broadcast. Place the Wife Confessions link in the chat. So if you guys have something on your mind, obviously, and Nicole, thank you. You gave some wonderful gems tonight.
Yes,
That was
indeed.
some
Yes,
great advice.
indeed.
And Mama too, we thank you for that advice. But just, put the link in there so they'll know how to reach us and how to have, a conversation brought up on the broadcast. We would love to hear from you guys.
And you would tell me, S. Marie, I'm gonna put it in the chat because I don't have it already on the
Okay.
in the banner. So I'll put it in the chat for people who want to submit a wife confession. We'll put that in the chat for you guys,
Absolutely.
in the comments rather, so y'all can go back and click on that and catch it. So yes, but I think it's the bit.ly/wife confessions is
Confession.
what
That's
it is.
it. Oh,
Yeah.
memory is an amazing thing, honey. Thank you for that.
I tried. But yeah, so definitely make sure you guys, y'all know we are coming up on a holiday weekend. So make sure y'all have a great one.
Yes.
We
Be
I'm
safe.
looking.
Sorry.
What you say?
I said be safe. Be
Yeah,
safe.
for sure. Be safe. Look, and if you're taking any girls trips or whatever, guy trips, make sure that you don't do nothing that your significant other or your spouse will find a problem with. So if you need nothing else, make sure that you don't do nothing that will cause them to not trust you after
That's
the.
right. Be on that best behavior.
Be on your best of the best. Look, take you some friends who gonna hold you and keep you tight, and make sure that you don't mess up a good thing if you got it.
That's right.
All right, y'all. Have a good one. Bye.